Here's a confronting thought. 5 million jobs will not exist in Australia within 15 years. That's 40% of our jobs slashed. Now, robotic and automation technology are expected to replace workers, but the real concern is no one seems to be worried about it.
We're concerned that we're not concerned.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worry.
Postmodern. Research by recruitment agency Randstad found that 84% of Australians surveyed don't think that their job, pardon me, will be affected. So is it time to get our heads out of the sand, so to speak? Joining us to discuss is futurist Shara Evans, along with Dr. Bem Lahunt from the University of Technology, Sydney. Good morning to you both.
Hi.
Now, Shana, where do we get this figure of 40% of current jobs not existing in 15 years? I mean, that's alarming.
It is alarming, but you know what? It's echoed by so many research studies around the world.
Yes.
That particular figure was from CETA, the Council for Economic Development Australia.
And which particular jobs are most in the firing line?
Well, anything that involves predictable physical labor is first up, and then data processing and data collection type of jobs too.
Right.
So we're talking about things like driving a vehicle or in a warehouse packing and stowing things,
Yeah, sure.
or even cooking in a restaurant. There are already robots that do cooking, but there are also
Wow.
white-collar jobs too. There are jobs like filing tax returns that can be completely automated, and a lot of legal work, you know, looking
You can
for
imagine
documents.
Gordon Ramsay, sous chef, would love to work for a robot instead.
It'd be much nicer, wouldn't it? You could program out all of the swearing. You mentioned robots there. Well, Amazon already has 45,000 robots moving their products all around their factories. And Volvo has predicted that driverless cars will be made available in the next 5 years. So that really puts out of a job, you know,
Earlier.
Uber drivers, taxi drivers. So, Bem, you teach creative intelligence and innovation. Talk us through, first of all, what the students learn there, and perhaps how people can rethink what jobs that they're doing to work out if they're in the firing line and what to do about it.
Okay, so we teach creative and critical thinking, which I think will never go out of fashion, never be taken over by robots. We're still going to need people to work with the robots, right?
Yeah.
We teach complexity, because we now live in a really complex world. For example, the transport will start at your house if we have that fully automated robotic transport system. We teach problem solving, because the problems are going to be so complicated. They're already so complicated.
Indeed.
We live in a complex world. We teach entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship, and we teach students to get ready for a world where they're going to be using top technologies that haven't yet been invented, doing jobs that haven't been invented yet too, and a whole range of jobs. They're predicted to be doing around 17 jobs across 5 different fields.
Yes.
Today's young person.
Really, we should all be thinking creatively like that.
We should all be
I mean,
thinking
that's
creatively.
part of being a fully realised human, presumably, to be able to think creatively like that.
Fully realised.
Is it is it imagined that the jobs that are lost to robots will be replaced by jobs that service robots or the robot
Not necessarily.
society?
That's interesting.
You know, some of them will be, and there are going to be a lot of jobs involved around the robotics industry. You know, if you're a programmer and you get into robotics or AI, you know, you're going to be set for a while.
Yep.
But there'll be maintenance of robots and maintenance of drones. And if I think about drones, we'll have drone highways in the sky before too long.
Sure.
There'll be air traffic controllers that specialize in all of this. There'll be people that design personalities for the robots that will be around you in the AI software bots. There'll be people who do voiceovers. You know, so there'll be some creative things too.
Sure.
Now, Ben, President Donald Trump's campaign pledge was to bring jobs back to America, but essentially the industries that he was talking about are the industries that we're saying are going to be obsolete. How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, it's short-termism, and also he's speaking to the people whose jobs are suffering right now, the people whose actual wages are dropping, and that's his public that he has support from. So he's thinking about the short term, and thankfully there are other people in the States who are not thinking so short term.
Presumably jobs that involve a lot of social interaction, or at least involve an innate human understanding of human interactions and motivations will be safe.
Human features are really important. I think you've hit a chord there, because who wants to live in a future that isn't human? We're brought up by human beings. Who's going to roboticize a mother or a father? We live in, and we need our futures to be human. We work a lot with human-centered everything, well beyond design. So we think about what a human-centered lawyer might look like.
Yeah.
In a day when Ross...
Many would say some barristers are quite robotic.
Exactly.
Human-centered health, human-centered communications.
There's always going to be a place for human magic, right, Shara? And Bam,
magic has to be there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.